Welcome to Feel Seen Space. We are a digital platform designed for artists and creatives who yearn for more. At a time of massive change, what does it mean to create? What role does artistic expression serve for the individual and the collective? On this podcast, we try to answer these questions by interviewing artists on their holistic creative processes, their work, and their personal journey. Today, we're welcoming photographer Johanna Benaïnous. Johanna is part of the duo Elsa and Johanna, who are famous for their staged self-portraits that look like movie stills. In this conversation, she talks about how she fell into photography, how she met Elsa, and how they developed their signature style. But she also addresses the everyday reality of being an artist, having faith, working on the unglamorous sides of a creative career, and trusting your own rhythm and intuition. And she even sprinkles a little bit of spirituality on top of it, which we always love. Enjoy!
Hi, Johanna. How are you?
Hi, Roxanne. Hi, Sara. I'm fine. And you?
Good. Thanks for being part of our podcast today.
It's a pleasure.
So, where are you in the world right now?
I am at my place in the 5th arrondissement of Paris.
Okay.
And so, this is a place where I work.
We are big fans. I saw your exhibition at La MEP in 2022, and I was so impressed by your work. I would like to understand how you started taking pictures, and did you study to be a photographer?
So the exhibition we did in the Met, so it's with my binôme Elsa. So I'm gonna just talk about me. I started to photograph when I was 13. So both parents really love art. My mom is a painter and my dad is a professional accountant. And when I was 13, I spent like a whole summer in Brittany where I was living. This time with my best friend, and we were teenager. We were just like bored during summer. We didn't know what to do, and I guess we just start using the first digital camera of my mom, and it was a very beautiful moment because we were just like following a lot of Skyblog at these times. So we were fan of young girls who were doing picture and posting and writing poems and stuff like that. And so we're like, okay, so why not us? Like, why we should do that also. So we start photograph our shoes. We start photographing the garden. We start photograph each other. And at one point, we really enjoyed it and we create like a Skyblog. And finally, we did this for 4 years with another friend. And it was one of the more creative period of my life in a way, because we really like did it all the time during all the holidays, all the summers. Every time we see each other, we were just taking a bag of clothes and going somewhere to do picture. And that's funny also because this is the first connection I had with photography. It's just taking my friend playing a role for photographs. So yeah, I guess I just started photography the way I'm still doing it today.
Yeah, that's amazing to see that you started so early on and with your best friend.
It was first a friendship story in a way, like photography start working with two of my best friends. And so during 4 years, we are just expressing ourselves. We're like editing picture, posting photos, writing poems. And it was an amazing way to express as a teenager. And so after 4 years, we stopped the Skyblog, and I start to engage myself in an arts like more professional. So I did after my baccalaureate, I did like an art school, and after I did Les Beaux-Arts de Paris. And what is funny is when I stopped working with my friend at this time, and I just start working for myself in an art school because the other two like didn't follow the same way. I really needed to do something very different. So I really stopped photographing me or photographing people, and I really start photographing more still life or more animals. And so after 4 years in Les Beaux-Arts de Paris, when I met Elsa in New York, it was kind of a reconnection with the sense of where I start.
In your pictures, your relationship with Elsa seems so intimate. It feels like you are like soul sisters. So I'm curious to hear more about the encounter and how did you start working with her at first?
So at this time, Elsa was studying in Les Arts Décoratifs de Paris. That is a big art school in Paris. And me, I was studying in Les Beaux-Arts de Paris. So we were both living in the 5th arrondissement, but without knowing each other. And we had the same exchange program in New York at the School of Visual Art. And we met the first day of class there. And I guess at the beginning, we just meet each other because we were French and we were kind of trying to find out which class we should take. But like really quickly, I had this kind of attraction, even I didn't say a word to her. And so when we just speak the first time, I guess it was very natural and we start talking about Paris, the school. We understand that we had friends in common and also what we wanted to discover in New York. And we really quickly start to go to parties or live music together. And more we just recreate like a group of friends all together. So at first it was really about a real friendship and like a really deep connection. And I think at this time we both were admiring the work of the other. So I saw her work and I was like, oh, it's very cool. We took fashion photography class together. But there was like a lot of exercise and it was a bit too academic for us. We just start doing all the exercise of this class together. We just wanted to have fun and we were like, okay, and let's go to the Bushwick Cemetery and taking pictures. And more, I think like we start enjoying a lot working together. At the beginning, I was helping her for her project and she was helping me for my project. We were assisting the other. And after 6 months in New York, I guess we really wanted to go back. And once we just get back to France, we didn't want this experiment stop. We wanted to like keep going or continue this dream in a way. And I spent 2 weeks in holidays at Elsa's place in the south of France. And I guess exactly the way I start with my first best friend, I think we're just together in a beautiful house, beautiful landscape. We had our cameras and we were, okay, so let's do something. Let's do some photos together.
Mm-hmm.
But we were just the two of us and Elsa already had a self-portrait work. So it was kind of natural for her and me, in a way, it was natural also. We had like some old teenage clothes Elsa had in her closet and the motorcycle of her dad. And we just, okay, so let's play characters. And after the first picture, we just saw the picture and started editing it. And it was like the first stone of this young connection because at one point we just were, okay, we are playing characters, but in a certain way, there is no point of playing them because they're really ordinary people. And so this was the first thinking we had. And yes, and I guess during these 2 weeks, we did a lot of characters every day. And we arrived after the holidays, I remember, at our schools because we just continue the program in France. And we show to our teacher something like 50 picture in a postal card format, 50 self-portrait. And we're like, okay, we did this together and we don't know what to do with that, but is it interesting? And we were, I guess, trying to figure it out, what was happening there. And so it's been a year where we plan to come back to New York, to do characters in New York. And finally, progressively, we had this idea to recreate like an imaginary crowd of people. So yeah, during 1.5 years, we planned kind of small residency in France, in New York. And yeah, and this was the first project we did together.
And so I guess you're really inspired by your environment. You shot in New York, in France, in Germany. What's the process of finding the character?
there is different reasons, I guess, and different way of creating characters. It can be the place where we are staying or the place where we are walking. We have a strong connection with the territory, as you said. So at the beginning of a project, we really try to immerse ourselves in a place, watching people, watching the way they move, watching the way they're dressed, listening to the sound around. Is it windy? Is it like really noisy? Is it really calm? How's the lights? Is it sunny? Is it gray? And it's all at this moment, all our five senses in a way are really animated because it's a way to receive information about where we are. Once we just had this information, we need to create a link between us and the place where we want to create because we can't play everybody. We have both of us, we have a physical limit, and we never wanted to play or to force something because for us it's really the start is from inside, so it's also from what we already have as a personality inside us. So that's the idea of creating the link between us and the place. And I guess the way we found to create it is through the clothes and also the wigs and the way we can have the hair. And so it really depends. Sometimes we are just trying some wigs and we are trying one, we are trying two, three, and at the fifth, it's like, oh, okay, I see someone. So sometimes we just trying a lot, and at one point there is a character who is calling us. Once we have this sensation that it can works, that it can be real, we start trying to understand who is this person and what would be the way this person will dress. So we start looking for the clothes, and most of the time we really like to find the clothes and to buy it in a vintage store or like secondhand, like Croix Rouge or stuff like that. In the territory that we are working, it's always kind of a little different, and it's really like a connection, and it's a real vector of narration. So because if, for example, we play a girl with, I don't know, like a square wing, and we play her like with French clothes, like clothes we found in a French shop, for example, Paris, it will already be a different girl that if we find the clothes in North Germany, for example, or in Canada or in American. Even if there is connection, it's really different. And so that's something that counts for us. And so once we have the wig, once we have the clothes, we start trying to figure the way she or he act, or what the makeup would be. But it's not like what the makeup will be in a perfect ways. It's more like how this person would make up herself. So it's not perfect. It's not a perfect way. It's like try to be really close to reality in a way we think it's a kind of authentic for us. So yeah, I guess this is a different way we create characters, and the fact being two is helping because now we are really trusting each other, and we have we share the same reference. When we are working, we see each other and we look at each other a lot with really no judgment. And so if I say to her, okay, this character is working, she trusts me. Even if someone she really thinks it's not working. And so it's the same for me.
So it's just a beautiful collaboration based on trust, I guess.
Yeah, it's a beautiful collaboration based on the creation of a third eye, in a way. There is always something beautiful and interesting in collaboration because it's two people who would create, in a way, another person, another way of seeing the world.
You guys are super intuitive. Building these characters comes from within, and you're just waiting for them to emerge. Always the collaboration with Elsa. Is it a slow process that you feel something, she feels something, and you talk and exchange ideas, or it's just a flash and you're just like, this is where we need to go to build this world?
I guess it's really close to the first things you said. Most of the time, we talk a lot about what we see. We are always looking and just sharing emotion, sensation, intuition, someone we saw in the street, like a building that we think it's beautiful, even if we don't do anything with that. We are sharing the perception we have. And also, it's been 11 years now. We are just working together. So I guess at the beginning, it was a way to cross two universes. Now we have different universe, but we create also another one. So now we know that when something match with our universe, it's obvious for us that, yes, it's Elsa and Johanna stuff, for example. But yeah, we exchange a lot. Sometimes we write, sometimes we draw also to organize the crowd of characters we play. But there is no special rules because I guess we both like to work in a kind of free aspect because before photographing, our work needs a lot of preparation. So in a way, we are just going from everything needs at one point to be clarified, which characters, which place, what time, which light. And so just from this to another place where we are really free to take the photograph, to change our mind, to say, let's just go somewhere else. Why not? Because we need to have this part of freedom and light way of working.
I mean, your work is really strong and recognizable, and you started a long time ago and you really kept your vision and built on it. I'm wondering, are you inspired by other female photographers that use this very cinematic lens and character like Cindy Sherman or Nadia Lee Cohen? How do you feel when you look at their work?
I guess we have a lot of respect for even Nadia Lee Cohen or Cindy Sherman. It's kind of a reference, but strangely, in our work, we are not feeling really close to those two photographers. Like we are close in the way of working, obviously. Maybe it's also because we are two people and we are not only one person taking self-portrait. So it's a different process. And I guess we are more feeling close to photographers or artists who work with fiction, with cinematography, with colors. We love, for example, the work of Tina Barnes, the way she just create like small theater with her families, and also like the way all the furnitures of a room can create some magical link with the characters. And we love obviously all the photographers who had a strong use of colors like Eggleston, Martin Parr. Those are really strong reference for us about like how colors can bring harmony and like a strong atmosphere and also we have a lot of cinematographer in common, Pedro Almodovar, David Lynch. I guess every project has a different kind of bunch of reference. It also can be really popular reference like Lion King or Asterix Obelix. I say it's a funny things, but it's really in our work because we love also irony a lot, and we saw a lot of even cartoon or comics book. It's a mix of a lot of different things, I guess. So yes, I guess we are not really talking about photographer who does the same kind of things. Maybe because for us, we are just trying to be inspired by something, I don't know, maybe different from what we do in a way.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally understand. And it's great that you guys are a duo because you have each other's back, and the art world and the photo world is not the easiest sometimes. Did you have a mentor or someone that saw the vision? Maybe that was a teacher or some other people in the industry that really helped you.
We still have, in a way. We have, yeah, really important encounters in our career. I would think to Gail Charbot, who's a really great curator, who really encouraged us to create more immersive exhibition. So, for example, he really trusts in our work, and so he gave us the opportunity to expand. When we were younger, I had this really good friend, Alexandre Gurkinger, who is an amazing photographer. Sometimes we just were having call and we wanted to show him the work and he was giving us advice and stuff like that. We also met our gallerist kind of very early. really after the diploma. So La Galerie La Forêt d'Yvonne, they really help us. I mean, they trust in our work and they exhibit us a lot during those past years. So it helps also. And I guess there is a lot of people. Every person you meet is a stone on your road. So yeah, I guess we have been lucky, but in a way, we are still friends with them. So it was more about human relation than opportunity at the beginning.
If you would have one advice to give to a young photographer that wants to start in the industry and get a gallery or have more exhibition, what would you say?
I would say that the first thing is it's really, really important to apply and to send your work. Of course, also now with Instagram, you have to show your work because if you don't show your work, nobody will just come and just take you. And it's important to believe that by small steps, you grow up and to make your work more like you, more mature in all the experiences you can have, the first exhibition, the first time you're nominated, or the first time you don't win something. All of these steps are really necessary also to understand maybe what's really important to you, why is the reason you are doing this. And it's not always easy, I guess, but I mean, as a young photographer, a lot of people would say to you, yeah, you can just forget about it. It's really, really hard. Like, you won't have any chance. And I would say that, okay, that's a reality, but that doesn't mean that's your reality. And I guess when you really, really, really want something, everything is possible.
Do you ever lose track on your creative projects? Maybe you're a professional artist or creative, but what used to be your passion now feels uninspiring. Or maybe you decided to pursue a safer career path, but you just know you have that artistic side of you that's dying to come out. At Feel Seen Space, our mission is to get you back in touch with your creativity, your flow, and your purpose. If you're ready to feel seen, we offer one-on-one holistic mentoring sessions designed to reconnect you to your inner artist. You'll find all the information at the link in the show notes. We hope to see you soon. So, Johanna, you were just talking about giving advices to young artists. And as you said, it has a lot to do with, of course, producing the work, but also not being afraid to show it again and again and to not discourage by people who maybe say, oh, you sure it's going to be hard, or by rejection at first when you try a lot of things and it doesn't always work out. So it sounds to me like on top of course, having a very strong point of view, what's very important as an artist and especially a young aspiring artist is to really have that confidence that your work matters and that it has its place somewhere. So how did you have access to that confidence from the start? And would you have advice again to other young artists who maybe are more doubting themselves or the quality of their work?
I guess, like, about me, especially, I had the chance. I was lucky because my parents kind of really encouraged me from the beginning and, like, grew up in this kind of milieu where they really trust me and they really, like, gave me the chance to succeed, as they let me have the space and they support me during those years. So I think and Elsa is the same. We had this really big luck having parents who were really proud and I guess who understood what we were doing. Because sometimes the problem is not about talent, it's also as a young artist who is like blossoming in a way, is also to create all around him a group of people who trust in him or in her, because we really need support. We really need people we can show the work when we have doubt. We need people to ask question, and just sometimes when you want to stop and you just like you're really discouraged, you need people to tell you that okay, you have this talent, it's okay, it's gonna be okay. And so if you don't have it from your parents or your family, I guess you will need to find it outside. through friends, other artists. And so that's really important. So yeah, for me, so I had this really big luck to be supported, but it's not that simple neither, because all like on the way of a career, there is a lot of moment that you're not sure that it's a good idea. It's a kind of a risk, because it's not a like easy work, and it's always changing, and I guess the only maybe things that can make the difference is the faith, that the belief that you really like you are on the good way. So even if it's not taking exactly like the aspect or the way of looking that you wanted, you just need to believe that if you're really feeling happy when you are doing your art, if you're really feeling good and you're exciting and you're feeling good emotion, I guess that means that you're on the good road. And of course, if you start like doing your work but not feeling only that bad feeling about it, like you're feeling bad, you're feeling anxious, and every time you're just doing these photos or these things, you're just feeling really depressed, it doesn't mean like you have to stop. It just means that you have to realign yourself, I guess, because when you're really happy by doing something, I guess that you can find a good opportunity to do it again.
So it sounds like you're describing the state of flow that's very famous for artists and for anyone who comes up with great ideas, is to like forget about themselves and really be in the moment and in that joy and not thinking about the end results too much, but really being again in that improv, beautiful state. Is that how you feel when you impersonate the characters?
I guess I have kind of two personalities when about works. I have this really like spontaneous and really like connected version of myself when doing the characters or having my cameras in a place and looking for the good or the perfect moment. You don't really know when or where. You just know that it will come. And I guess more and more, it's really what I prefer. You just learn to let go of, okay, you just know that the creation is just coming and you just have to be open to receive it. And I have another personality which is very more and more constructed, because I think it's really also important for any artist to have this really strong vision of what it means to have an artistic career. Because artists, they are not only creators, because a lot of time you take it like by mailing, organizing, sending portfolio, creating new things all the times. It depends of course of the kind of medium you work, but as a photographer, at one point you need to know how to do an invoice, how much you have to ask for an invoice, like for work. And this is a lot of question, and so those questions need answer. And I guess it's also important to have a minimum of structure and not be afraid of this structure, because these structures help the artistic aspect to emerge. I would say it's my opinion, but I think it's really important to have both aspects.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's kind of like again that masculine and feminine balance where you need both for something to really flourish. So because you guys have at this point quite a long career in fine arts photography, what does a typical maybe week look like? How do you organize your time between projects for exhibitions and publications? Are there other projects that you're working on? What does your schedule look like?
I think it's most of the time changing a lot, but with Elsa about our really fine art photography work, because there is fine art, there is commercials, there is videos, there is different kind of work, and there is also the things we do separately. So I would talk about my week and not hers. I would say that we most of the time have like do one big photo shooting for one big project where we just making self-portraits. So this often is like something like 2 weeks or 1 month working in continuous. And after we need something like 1 year to edit everything, to let go, let all the picture re-go, like check the picture, video selection. Start. It's a really long process because at the end we want that the final series got the good selection, the good picture. We really want that at the end, a year after, when we see the picture, we still have the same sensation that it's fine. And so it takes so much time. After, it can also be like video shootings. This month I was doing a music video, so it was really, really intense because it's like 5 days of shooting, 2 weeks of editing, and you work with a lot of people. So it's like, it's super exciting, but it's also more exhausting. And after, there is all the more like office work. Me, I'm working at my place, but I also have a small office in the center of Paris where I like to go just to socialize a bit. And so it's like a lot of mailing because we receive a lot of proposition, exhibition. So it's all the time the kind of different process, but you always have to do it again and again. Send the stock, propose a selection of picture, check with the gallery because you need to deliver the picture. Sometimes it's like imagine a special scenography for a place. So it's always already existing picture, but we like to propose something different the same each time. So it's always like a new question, like, okay, this is a new place. They want this series. What would be the best way to like create like something new, but also close to the work? So yeah, I guess. And so after, there is also like more the commercials. It can be a portrait of an artist. It can be like an advertising. It can be really a lot of different things. And that's something I really love about my work, is like each month can really be different. And for example, me, I'm the one who deal with all the accountor aspects of our like of studio. And sometimes like I have this 1, 2, 3 days that I really need to fix and to reorganize every numbers, every bills and blah, blah, blah. But it really, in a way, it's really like a good moment also because it's like it just helped me to reorganize everything we did for like the past weeks. So yeah, it's also part of the work.
So you end up doing both your mother's work and your dad's work in a way.
Yeah, I really like when you talk about like masculine and feminine energy, because I guess that's exactly the way you can succeed to create something sensitive and to just like push these things in the world.
Yes, so actually, being an artist requires a lot of inner work because, as you said, you work alone a lot. Well, you guys are a duo, but everything stems from you. And so you need to be fed as an artist and see beautiful things that inspire you, but you also need to make sure that you're very grounded to have that faith and that confidence in yourself. So over the years, how would you say that you have worked around that to be able to hold all of that ever-changing work that an artist life brings?
I would say that me, I'm a big like believing in the law of attraction in a way. With Elsa, but especially me, we start like trying to manifest and putting intention about what we really wanted to like in our career. And so I remember that we did a lot of lists, and we did a lot of gratitude lists, because it was also a way to believe that it's possible. It's possible to be exhibiting in this museum. It's possible. So we did this a lot, like just trying to, yeah, make the good vibes just coming. And I guess we had like really bad moment and obviously depressed also, because it's part of life and you can't really escape from this. And sometimes as an artist who works alone, it can be very, very tough, because sometimes you're just in a big fog and you lose any sense of why you are doing everything. But I guess it's so connected. Like, I guess the creation is so connected with the way you just take care of your mental health, because, and also the way you treat like yourself, because sometimes as an artist today, we are always asking to artists to create like nonstop. Every time you just do an exhibition, the guy will say, oh, okay, so what is the next project? So you just end these things, and you're already like in 1 minute, you have to justify yourself and talk about the next project. And sometimes it's really like tiring, because you're like, you didn't have time to celebrate what you do, and you're just doing and doing and doing all the time. And so you're, especially also with the social network, you're thinking that people are doing more. And so every time, everyone is different, but me, I know that I really try to protect myself, and sometimes I can't protect myself. But I just try to, yeah, to not like be in it, but just like not the mind, just physically. I don't know if it's like do what we have to do, post what we have to post, but not like invest more, because it's really important to keep, I guess, like a really like intimate and safe like space in your mind to create. And sometimes you can't create, and it's also something we have to learn as an artist, that sometimes you have 6 months, 1 year, you just lose inspiration, and it can be really, really scary. And so it's also like a new, I guess, a new tentative to find the inspiration again. When you lose inspiration, it's often connected to other things in your life. So you can't fix something if you don't fix the things next to it. So yeah, I guess just being curious of what's happening in your mind, and be patient also, because we are not machine. We are just all organic. So sometimes there is nothing, and we have to accept that. And maybe also to fight against this kind of system that's ask you to be a machine.
And yeah, I feel like it's very much like the seasons in nature. You wouldn't expect a tree to just like produce fruits all the time. Like you need these downtimes for everything to regenerate. Otherwise, I feel like if as an artist you try and be that person who produces all the time, I guess you just do the same things all the time, and that's not very interesting. So it's great that you are able to honor that rhythm. And even I had no idea that you two were waiting a full year before releasing a project. That's so inspiring, because I feel like so many people produce something and then right after they're like, does this has value? Yes, no, okay, maybe I should just ditch that. I'm sure it's very inspiring for a lot of people to go back to that rhythm that's much more natural to the creative process than social media and that instantaneity. I wanted to ask you about the characters that you create again, because it's very impressive how you guys really transform throughout this process. You have been taught how to create beautiful images and worlds, but I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, if you ever learned to impersonate and act. But it's very convincing, because meeting you now, you have a completely different vibe than you do on your photographs. So I guess my question is, do you spend a lot of time looking at people? Do you have like that love for every kind of human being to be able to portray them so accurately?
Me, I guess I've always been someone who is very empathetic, I would say, that with no pretension, but I feel a lot of like emotions through people. Also because I grew up in a family where I had also to interpretate the mood of other people, of my father especially. And so I guess I really had this strong vision of the micro move, the non-verbal communication, the look, the really like small thing that can change in a face, and that can indicate like what's happening. And so I guess it's something I just do all the time, every time, since always. So for me, when I like play characters, I think in a way I connect myself to these kind of things, because it's not big transformation. It's not big, really caricatural face. Sometimes it's really, really, really soft. Maybe sometimes it's about like the way or the things you are thinking at the moment of the picture. Or it's also like believe that in a way, I really just think that once I'm playing a character, sometimes. So I have the whole like costume and everything is perfect, but the character, he's not there. And so sometimes, and it's funny because we saw it on the photo shoot. Sometimes we shoot, and more when we just like do the editing, we see the characters arriving in the picture. It's like one, picture 2, picture 10. Okay, he's here. And sometimes after he disappears.
That's crazy.
And so for me, it's really, really kind of, there is something magical. I never thought I was an actress. I guess, of course, Elsa did the theater. I didn't do that, but, and of course we are kind of actress, like mute actress, but it's more like we are more like a channel. And for me, we are more like, at this moment, we are a canal of a real, in a way, a real person, a real personality who arrives for the picture and who leaves after.
That's so beautiful. What I also love about your work is that tension between the documentary aspect. You mentioned that you wanted it to feel very real and to really be grounded in a territory and the reality of a character. But there's also something that's very staged. And so there's that tension between both aspects. And so I think it's very beautiful that, unlike, say, Martin Parr, who you referenced earlier, you photograph these very quote unquote ordinary people, but you give them this kind of almost royal or cinema star vibe because the lighting are so intricate and beautiful. And so you value these housewives and these teenagers sitting on the floor. And that's just this beautiful aura around them that I think is very beautiful.
I like the way you explain it. Because yes, I guess the light and the composition is a way to make a really ordinary scene kind of iconic. Like how you can create which succeed to connect to the collective imaginary. It's like how you can just show another like normal street scene, but with the light, with the colors of the clothes, with the emotion, you try to make happen something. For me that is very important, is like someone who will look at the picture will recognize something. And I guess that the fact of recognizing, even if it's the first time you saw the picture, means that it's not you who recognize it. It's more like your like subconscious who recognize something he saw somewhere else, he liked, he disliked, he saw in the street, and it's just like create like more and more and more and more link with a lot of different things. And I guess maybe this is also the way we succeed to create moving image, because for each person the picture will be the same but a little bit different, because it will always connect to his own memory, but it would be exactly the same, but just a different shades. And so, yeah, I don't know if I answered to the question, but for me, it's like moving in image.
That's interesting because I experienced that as a viewer when I went to the Tina Barney exhibition, and you see all of these families, and because of my own, I guess, history and background as subconscious, I was looking at that and I was thinking about the family dynamics and looking at the psychology of the characters and stuff. And people around me were all saying like, they're so rich, it's disgusting. And I was like, I didn't even think about that aspect. Everyone like projects their own things, and sometimes they don't read on the same level the same scene. So it's very interesting. So that leads me to the last question, which is, you already touched on it earlier, but what do you think beauty and art serve as a purpose for the viewers and for humanity at large? What role does art serve?
I think that's one of something that we really like looking for as human being, and that we really need in every aspect of the world. I would say that it's harmony. It's like we look for harmony in sound, we look for harmony in love. I mean, big like family of love. We look of harmony in a room, in the streets, and for me, beauty is a tool to get the harmony. And obviously it's all the time subjective, like what is beautiful, what is not beautiful. So I would say something beautiful for me, it's something harmonious. Because sometimes, and we saw it in the picture we did with Elsa, we decide to shoot in a special location, so it's like a special house. And obviously it's really old-fashioned. And it's hard to say like it's beautiful, because it's like really grandmothers, really old, cheap. Sometimes it's really cheap materials and stuff. But in a way, there is a kind of harmony between all those stuff. And maybe it's part of the owner, or I don't know, and in a way, I think it's beautiful. And so we finally try to take the beautiful out from this. That's maybe a lot of people would say like, oh, it's ugly, I wouldn't stay there. But there is something happening between the curtain and the carpet, and sometimes it's too much, but it's just makes sense. And so for me, I'm really always looking for this, and I'm really sensitive to that. And I guess all the time I'm somewhere in a place, a cafe, restaurant, I can feel that is not harmonious, obviously for me. But so yeah, I would say that.
But then what do you think about artists whose goal is not to produce harmony, but to provoke, like to make you react, to maybe disgust you? You see a lot of that in contemporary arts.
It totally can be okay to look for disharmony if it's what you want. I guess I'm looking for harmony, and sometimes you have to show disharmony for making understand people that they are looking for harmony. So an artist who will provoke, who will show something very ugly, really like sad or violent or things like that, it's also a way to create a contrast, because life is just like white and black. Every good things has like the contrary. It's linked, like it won't exist without the other. But I'm not sure that showing, for example, the artist who wants absolutely showing violence or showing disharmonies, they're maybe not trying to show beauty. It's just everything just for me, there is not like beauty is not like, obviously for me it's something I'm really looking for, because I love beauty, I love colors, I love texture, I love vibration. So but I also understand that it's not a goal for a lot of people. It's for me it's like it's care. Beauty helps feeling good. So
those are beautiful parting words. Beauty is care. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you so much.
Thank you, girls.
That's it for today's episode. We thank our guests for their trust, and we thank you for being a part of our community. If you like this episode and want to support our work, consider ranking our podcast on Apple or Spotify. And if you know someone who could benefit from this conversation, please share our work with them to help them spread the dream of a conscious, creative community. Talk soon.